Callers, Vesves here with another episode of What's New in ARMA. I stumbled upon the TMR Realism mod this week. It's not really new, but it's definitely worth putting it into spotlight. Now I'm sure everyone who has played ARMA 2 with the ACE mod is gonna love this baby right here, because even though it's not quite as extended as ACE is, it's definitely a first step towards it. I gotta be honest, ARMA 3 has still a lot of flaws in my opinion, a lot of things that piss me off. And issues that kind of take away the immersion from the gameplay because they're too arcadey or are missing completely. The TMR mod has a few excellent features which change sometimes small things in the game but have a huge impact on the gameplay. But that's exactly what makes it brilliant. Alright, let's see what the developers have to say about TMR. You probably have already read it. TMR is a modular open source modification for ARMA 3 aimed at increasing realism and complexity without sacrificing engaging gameplay and accessibility. Wow, I didn't even know I can read that fast in English. Okay, fair enough. Now what does it mean? Now the TMR mod is more like a mod pack because it consists of multiple files which are all separated. It has a lot of features, and all those features are separate PBO files, basically separate modules. It's not like something you use as a module in the editor or anything. You just download the entire package and then you enable or disable the specific functions or the specific features you want by just deleting or not deleting the downloaded files in your ARMA 3 mod folder. This allows you to configure sort of a preset for your personal preferences or your clan or whatever. And yeah, in my opinion, it's just an awesome approach to let the user decide what features he wants to use, and this way he can easily customize the mod to his preferences. The mod is still work in progress, and you can actually download the open source files from the website here. Even though Ryan Schultz, aka Tao Sinai, is the lead developer, he lets everyone contribute. The whole thing is open source, which means if you're experienced with coding, scripting, add-on making, whatever, you can actually contribute to this project. Should you decide to do so, you will have to follow those 5 key principles. They are pretty simple and they should assure that everyone is on the same page. As you see, there's a pretty sophisticated concept behind this mod. I gotta say, I'm really impressed. Okay, time for the fun part. Let's have a look at the features and test a few of them live in game. The first one is pretty awesome. I particularly like it because I use track IR and I have major issues with 4x magnification RCO scopes. In the vanilla game, the whole thing shakes like crazy if you use track IR, which makes it almost impossible to aim. I even had to set up a keystroke to pause my track IR whenever I use that scope. Otherwise I just can't aim with it. The TMR mod will change the 3D scopes of this category to 2D scope overlays with realistic and more detailed reticles. As you see here, it does look pretty good. You got the valid information on the scope, but the focus is really where it has to be, and that's like the center of the screen. You don't focus on the shaking environment, but you still have like a grayed out area around the 2D scope where you can slightly see what's going on the sides. The scope I use here is the hammer scope. It's the one from the Blue Force side, and the ARCO from the Op Force side is kind of similar, has a different reticle though, but the changes are the same. I mentioned the faction sides here because by default in ARMA 3 they're used by those factions, but as every weapon attachment in ARMA 3, you can use them on pretty much every weapon you want, no matter what side you're on. Those 2 scopes are the only ones affected by the changes of the mod. Everything else stays the same as in vanilla. As mentioned, this feature is like definitely one of my favorites in the mod, not only because it increases efficiency for me as a track IR user, but also because of the more detailed reticles that allow you better aiming, especially on moving targets. Because those scopes have aim point markers for ranging on the reticle, the vanilla zeroing will be disabled if you use them. The next feature will enhance ballistics for 6.5 and 5.56mm caliber rounds. I'm not gonna show you that in game because quite frankly I don't have so much experience with weapons and especially different calibers and all that stuff to give you a professional opinion on if it's more realistic or not. Another feature of the TMR mod will change the PCML and RPG 42 launchers. You'll get 2 versions for the PCML launcher. One is AT, anti-tank, and the other one is the MPV, the multi-purpose variant. Both types have specific fire modes and a unique warhead. The launcher itself becomes disposable, which means you can only fire 1 missile per tube. The RPG-42 will become unguided, but you get a more detailed reticle, which allows you for better ranging at longer distances, and you get a variety of warheads including heat, HE, smoke and thermobaric. This mod even includes tutorial missions for both of those launchers, where you can familiarize yourself with the new handling. Well, if that's not outstanding, then what is? Moving on to the next feature, disposable weapons. As just mentioned before, the PCML launcher becomes disposable as it is in real life, but there the launcher is called NLAW. In my opinion, this allows for more realistic gameplay because an AT soldier carries one PCML launcher with one shot and not a backpack with additional 4 missiles or so. Blast fragmentation is another feature of this mod. Apparently so far is only the PCML MPV supported, but in the future also fragmentation of frag grenades and underbarrel grenade launchers should be simulated more realistically. The next feature is something I could have smacked BIS in the face for not bringing it in the original game, but I'm so glad it's in this mod now and we can finally use something like that. It's weapon resting in bipods. Now that's a subject that is so ridiculous and it drives me mad. If you look at how much effort BIS has put into infantry combat, they bring in all those stances and weapon attachments, but they forget to add something where you can fucking rest your weapon on a vehicle hood, on a corner or on a wall, or where you can use a bipod on a frickin' sniper rifle. I really don't understand it, but TMR mod does have it. It works excellent. It's a super feature. I'm so happy I can finally rest my sniper rifle on the bipod when I'm shooting on distances longer than 1200 meters. Okay, let's start with weapon resting. This works with any weapon and it is as simple as it is brilliant. You could rest your weapon pretty much everywhere where you could actually do it in real life too. Peeking over a wall, looking around a corner or shooting over the hood of a vehicle, no problem. Simply place your weapon close to an object until the rest weapon symbol on the lower screen appears. Hit tab and you will see the symbol change and you even hear a kind of a noise as confirmation that you're actually in a resting position. If you don't have any objects to rest your weapon on, there's always bipods. As ridiculous as it is, BIS created weapon models with bipods on them, but they thought, hell, let's just make them eye candy. Well, not anymore they are. Thanks to the TMR mod you can finally bring them to good use. All vanilla weapon models that have already a bipod on them can be used as such. Simply lie down or so, hit tab, you see the bipod symbol appearing, you hear the kind of a click. The model will not change, the bipods are not animated, the character will not flip out the legs or so, the bipod legs, but you can still use it as such, it will stabilize your aim. This goes for the vanilla light machine guns and sniper rifles, and I think that's all. It's also possible to stabilize the weapon with a bipod on a wall as I do here, no problem. If you like to use a bipod on a weapon that doesn't have one in the vanilla model, such as the designated marksman rifles or any assault rifle for that matter, you can also do that by grabbing an attachment, bipod attachment. It goes in the side rail slot instead of a flashlight or an IR beam. Unlike the official weapon attachments of BIS, this one is not gonna change the weapon model, at least not with the rifle I use here. Quite frankly, I've not tested it with anything that doesn't use a foregrip. Personally, I prefer using an attachment I don't see but gives me functionality, rather than having one I can see but not use. Okay, what else is there? New recoil and aim sway profiles for pretty much all the weapons, which will improve the feel of the weapon and shooting. Also, the use of suppressors is simulated more realistic. Last but not least, a few changes have been made to the default weapon characteristics. For example, the Vermin has a 2-round fire burst now, the MX-SW has a single shot firing mode, and all the MX rifle can now load the 100 round coffin magazine. And that's just to name a few. All in all, I think it's safe to say this is one huge pack of awesomeness. Okay, I'm through with the introduction of the TMR mod for ARMA 3. I think you could feel my enthusiasm for this mod. I'm really super excited, I love it. I feel that features like the weapon resting, bipods and the 2D scopes are a large improvement to the gameplay. And I definitely advise everyone to test out the mod, test out the different features and then select the ones you like and remove the ones you don't want to use. It is a first, maybe even a second step towards something similar to Ace. And I'm definitely gonna keep track of this mod, see where it's going and what additional content comes out for it. Thanks a lot to Tao Sinai for starting this whole project and maintaining it. Outstanding work, mate. Keep going. Also, thanks a lot to everyone else who has been involved so far or might be contributing in the future. I will link the official website in the description below. You see the download link right here. I will also link the ARMAholic page, and you can download the mod from Play.6, where the latest version always is downloaded automatically. Thanks a lot for watching this episode of What's New in ARMA. Make sure to check out the rest of those videos in the playlist. This is where I introduce all kinds of add-ons and mods and scripts, because let's face it, vanilla just ain't good enough. I'm Swiss. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, Steam, Twitch, and brand new also on Google+. Please pay me a visit and like, follow, and add me on those pages to stay up to date on the latest activities. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Without sacrificing engaging gameplay and accessibility. Wow, I didn't even know I can read that fast in English. Okay, fair enough. Now what does it mean? Now the TMR mod is more like a mod pack because it consists of multiple files which are all separated. It has a lot of features, and all those features are separate PBO files basically. It's not really new, but it's definitely worth putting it into Spotlight. Now I'm sure everyone who has played ARMA 2 with the ACE mod is gonna love this baby right here, because even though it's not quite as extended as ACE is, it's definitely a first step towards it. I gotta be honest, ARMA 3 has still a lot of flaws in my opinion, a lot of things that piss me off, and issues that kind of take away the immersion from the gameplay. Separate modules. It's not like something you use as a module in the editor or anything. You just download the entire package, and then you enable or disable the specific functions or the specific features you want by just deleting or not deleting the downloaded files in your ARMA 3 mod folder. This allows you to configure sort of a preset for your personal preferences or your clan or whatever, because they're too arcadey or are missing completely. The TMR mod has a few excellent features which change sometimes small things in the game but have a huge impact on the gameplay. But that's exactly what makes it brilliant. Alright, let's see what the developers have to say about TMR. You probably have already read it. TMR is a modular open source modification for ARMA 3 aimed at increasing realism and complexity. Callers, Swiss here with another episode of What's New in ARMA. I stumbled upon the TMR Realism mod this week.